Welcome back to the Gospel Fantasy Football Show. I hope you guys have had a great week. We missed you on last week. I was out of town. I just knew where we were going. I was going to end up having a good internet signal. I did not, so we could not record the show last week, but we're going to make sure that we bring the heat. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm your Jose, the Fantasy Football Fiend, and I have my guy, Young Vander. Holla at the people, Young Vander.
Hey, what's going on out there?
So I'm gonna give y'all a quick heads up. Um, it is pouring down, raining outside right now. So if there are any issues with audio or anything of that nature, yeah, it's just because the signal was a little wonky. With that being said, we will press through. Today's show is going to be all about boom or bust. The players that we throw out there that are likely to be aces in the hole or to possibly blow up your week slash season, depending on how much stock you put into them. But before we hop into that, we will go ahead and talk a little bit about the happenings of the last week or so. Camps have gotten started, so you're going to see a lot of the injury lists and things of that nature going to be published. Some guys are par for the course. Some we thought would be a little bit further along. Some are pretty surprising, but we'll talk about that along with a little bit of other news blurbs here. We can start out with the quarterbacks. My guy Vander, let us know whether or not there's much to do about nothing, or if it's a quarterback that you actually want to talk about. Deshaun Watson placed on the PUP list. Obviously, he was dealing with the Achilles. Nothing really new here. Anything that you want to speak to as far as Watson is concerned?
Not a thing, man.
Same
Nothing
here.
at all.
Matthew Stafford tended to a sore back. I'll quote you. I've never met anyone that has stated they used to have a bad back.
Right.
I mean, this isn't the first time we've heard about this particular injury. Is it something to speak to? Is it something that if you have him and let's say dynasty or something like that, you may want to go ahead and pick up Garoppolo just to have him stashed away on the bench? No better time to have your cuff than when nobody else wants them, as far as that is concerned. Um, Anything to talk here about Matthew Stafford are pretty much par for the course for a veteran this time of year that has had his issues in the past.
Absolutely. He's just a veteran day. And probably, time that you probably don't come to practice, spend some time with your kids or take your wife out, stuff like that. They're right here. I don't think there's really nothing to see here. Again, if you're in a dynasty league and you're kind of short at the quarterback position, I mean, why not? I mean, being that he's the older quarterback, and so he'd be like a handcuff if you want to go grab
Mhm.
Garoppolo or something like that. So, I mean, that's fine. But as far as a real thing to be concerned about, I don't think there's anything to see here.
Anthony Richardson Sr. is ready for training camp. Does that change your prognosis as far as whether he or Daniel Jones will end up getting the job? Or is this one of those, well, based on when you got injured last year, you should be ready? So, not really much to see here.
Well, I always thought that Daniel Jones would win the job anyway. So him coming back slowly from a shoulder injury uh, that he kind of tweaked, it seemed. Um, this is more of a reason I like Daniel Jones going in. So he already didn't have, I think, a leg up already in the competition, and now you kind of like slowly working way back in. I just think he just creating a bigger gap between the two. I mean, so I think it's Daniel Jones all the way for me.
Dak Prescott, they said they're going to limit him as far as camps are concerned, and that Joe Milton is going to get plenty of work. With Dak being out pretty much most of last year, and then putting him on a pitch count for camp, is that concerning? Like, should they want to be able to give him, the full load and not have to worry about it, or are we past that and we're just going to handle them with kid gloves? Like, what are we doing here in Dallas?
Again, man, the veterans they kind of get the seniority thing. You know what I mean? So he don't have to go out there work hard, just go through the motions. He knows the playbook in and out. And guys like this, I mean, it's really about week one, real games. So at this point, you have the Aaron Rodgers, the Russell Wilsons, the guys that who've been in this league 10 years plus. I mean, they don't even want to be there anyway. A lot of veterans hate camp, right? So they just want to show up when it's time to play. So it's no concern. I think it's good to get that young boy some more reps as he gets more acquainted, because he could very well be the heir to that job. So
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
Will Levis season-ending surgery already. So the job that wasn't going to be his anyway in Tennessee, he won't even be the backup there now. He's out for the year. Desmond Ritter, he's in Cincinnati now, which was interesting to me because I kind of felt like anytime, well, the couple of times that we've seen Joe Burrow get hurt, I didn't feel like Jake Browning did a
Yeah.
bad job. So I was kind of surprised with a guy that I don't feel did as good a job when given the opportunity to be the starter as Jake Browning did when he was given the opportunity, although it was, due to injury. And that I just found that kind of interesting. But I guess most teams run with three quarterbacks on their roster anyway, so maybe he's better than whoever they had as the third guy. But I found that kind of interesting. Anything to see here, or just filling the spot?
Yeah, I mean, a recommendation for me, I did it in a league we in. Um, if that Levis owner drops him, grab him and throw him in the IR. I mean, he's probably not going to be in Tennessee, but he can very well be pick up. I mean, he was a high draft pick, so it won't hurt if you're in a dynasty league just to park him in an IR spot for maybe years to come. So I would do that strategy if you have some IR spots available and someone releases him. So why not? It's not going to hurt.
Tyler Shaw gets a fully guaranteed rookie deal with the Saints, 10.8 million rookie contract guaranteed, and he may have a shot at being the starter. Like where are you as far as the Saints quarterback depth chart and his likelihood of being the starter? If is it one of those, if it's equal, we go ahead and go with this guy, or like what's your outlook as far as Tyler is concerned?
I mean, as a whole, I think it's a mess what they got in New Orleans. But I mean, you would think the guys that's there already had a leg up, but being this is a new regime, it's new to everybody at this point. And I mean, those guys had the opportunity to show what they can do last year. We seen Spencer Rattler. I mean, he couldn't get past the 50-yard line. You know what I'm saying? In
Yeah.
the game, lost me a championship last year. In all honesty, but for sure, I think if it's even, you go with the young guy, the rookie. I mean, if it's even, you go with the guy with the more, with the upside, the young guy. Throw him in there. Um, he is older. He's not your typical rookie. I think he's like 25 years old or something of that nature. So he's pretty mature. And but from a fantasy outlook, I'm not a fan of any QB on this team, and I don't want to own anybody. To be honest with you.
One thing not necessarily tied to a running back, but just a thought. Detroit has lost a couple guys on that O line that are definitely of note. Do we feel like this can have any type of a significant effect on the run game there, whether we're talking about Gibbs or Montgomery? Obviously, they lost their center Frank Ragnow to retirement,
Right.
right guard Kevin Zettler to the Titans, um, and now they have a competition between rookies as far as that position is concerned. So we don't necessarily know what we're going to get there, but we're talking about a competition between the second rounder and the sixth rounder. So yeah, like for the run game specifically, How significant is it to lose your center and your right guard?
Huge, in my opinion. I mean, especially it's just not any center. It's like probably the best center in the league. After Kelsey retired, right? Like he's up there. So I mean, this offensive line is known as well, they were considered the best offensive line in football, right? So when you lose two of starters, I think in the center at that, pretty significant piece. Um, Especially running between the tackles, I think that could be extremely key, right? I mean, hmm. Not only you lose, those guys are offensive line, but you also lost the signal caller himself. So
Yeah,
I think those two things really stand out when it comes to Detroit in this backfield. Um, I love Gibbs. Um, I even heard a report came out today said they're going to use him a lot more in the slot. So that's already a telltale sign. I
in the
think,
slot.
yeah.
Why?
So,
That's what St. Brown camps out.
well, I think it's just showing that they really want to get the ball in his hand, maybe in space, because he's a really good receiver at the backfield. So they're probably going to move him around the offense a lot this year. Again, in space, slot, outside running, that maybe could be something due to the offensive line, right? Like let's put him out, get him in space and see can he move from out there. But it's going to be interesting to see how this thing pretty much unfolds as far as that backfield.
James Cook is reporting to camp for Buffalo Bills, so doesn't have a new contract yet, but apparently he is willing to show up. Tyreek Hill has declared himself fully healthy. Malik Neighbors avoids the pup list. Chris Godwin officially starts on the pup list, still dealing with that ankle injury. Scary Terry not present at camp due to camp concerns. Chris Olave, full participant in camp. Ricky Parcells won't start on the pup list, but his wide receiver mate Brandon Ayuk will. Any guys that we want to dig a little bit deeper into of the ones spoken of?
I think, well, firstly, with Terry, I'm not sure if he's going to play without the contract. I think
I
he's,
would.
I think he's trying to stand pretty, tall with that. Same thing with Cook. It could be a hold in, not quite a hold out, right? It's like, look, I'm holding in, I'm coming, I'm showing you I'm here, I'm with you guys, but I want to get the money straight. And I think with Cook, because he was pretty firm about, getting that contract. And now as we get closer in campus here, and he's reporting it could be more of a hold in. I'm thinking, let's see if he put the pads on or not. But I think he's going to be a hold in. I don't think Ayuk is going to be ready anytime soon. I think that's going to stretch into the middle of the season, maybe. As far as Persall, I think he'd be fine. I think it's just a little, those soft tissue things, hamstrings and stuff like that they can linger at times, but sometimes, you could just be keeping them in bubble wrap to the season start. I think he'd be fine going into the season. Neighbors, not really a concern there. Um, Godwin, I think is pretty interesting. Seemed like, you had another surgery kind of late. And in my opinion, I think you might want to get some of that Macmillan stock. I really like him. Um, Ebuka seemed like he's a solid dude. He can play inside and out, but I think it's to be seen. I want to see it first. You know what I'm saying? We already know Mayfield and Macmillan has a chemistry already. Their first game is against the Falcons. So it's a good time to see that on display. So I like Macmillan, especially playing DFS. FanDuel, he's gonna be cheap. And no Godwin, I'm definitely like rolling him out there.
And lastly, moving on over to tight end, we have Darren Waller, who is now a Miami Dolphin. For those of you that did not know, he will begin camp on the pup list. Undisclosed injury. I think this is par for the course based on the fact that you can be added on or taken off of the pup at any point in time in the offseason. Um, if at this point he hasn't fully healed, he won't. So I don't even know why you would sign him if he isn't. This feels more of like a we're gonna put the kid gloves on because it's been so long since you've had to ramp it up. So we're gonna bring you along slowly. Um, Travis Kelsey ready for season 13, dropped a couple of pounds. Dawson Knox, he will be on the NFL, yeah, on the NFI list, which just normally means that it's a injury that happened that had nothing to do with football.
Mm.
Taysom Hill opens up camp on the pup list. Colston Loveland, the rookie, he's going to be eased in. He was coming off of the shoulder situation there. Um, Elijah Arroyo out there in Seattle, um, and AJ Barner, two guys that eyes are on based on Noah Fant being let go. So they're going to be 1-2 or 2-1. I know personally when I saw Seattle a few times on last year, I was impressed with what I saw with AJ Barner, and I'm wondering how much leeway he's going to have. A lot of times, as it pertains to rookie tight ends, even the ones that were outstanding as far as pass catching capability and things of that nature were concerned, it didn't just necessarily click for everyone year one. But I did see a little bit in Barner when given opportunity on last year. What's your outlook as far as the Seattle tight end situation is concerned?
If you're not familiar, you need to get familiar. Um, Arroyo, like this is one of them ones. We speak on this platform a lot of times about drafting your tight end last or those sleeper tight ends, those undrafted tight ends. This is one you want to write down. Already have him in a dynasty league. Had him sitting in a nice little taxi spot. This dude he's one of those ones. I think Loveland and the other kid. What's the other kid name again? Loveland and
Warren?
yeah, they got a lot of the spotlight when they come to tight end. But this is one of those ones. A lot of people thought he could have been a top 15 pick as far as the skill set. I mean, and what better than Noah Fant moving out the way? And I don't think it's about. I think it's about design. I think they seen what they had. It's like, look, let's go ahead and make this move now. This kid ready to go now. So keep your eyes on this kid. I'll be looking for him, especially in the standard league. If I'm going to go zero out and pick my tight end, maybe my last pick, he'll be a guy I would like. Maybe I won't have him as a starter, but why
Waiting in
not?
the wings.
Absolutely have him sitting on the bench for you if you're the type of person that's going to go get the Kelseys of the world or one of these higher tight ends and they have to go down.
Get Zach Ertz on your second to last pick. Start him until he get hurt. And then about that time, Arroyo should be the starter. But I mean, like you can literally piece it together where it's gonna be certain guys that are likely to kick it up a notch at a certain point in the season. All you gotta do is make sure that if that's a part of your plan, that you actually hold on to them versus panicking and then selling them on the cheap, and then somebody else getting the benefit of the harvest when you were the one that planted the seeds. So
I mean, there's different ways you can go with this thing. I mean, again, that was in a redraft, but Dynasty he's already gone more than likely.
yeah.
But he's somebody that maybe people are kind of not that aware of. You can make a move on him. But I think this kid could be really good out of the gate. I think he'd be good right out of the gate. So I'll be looking for him.
Now let's move on over into the main part of the show. We are going to be talking about boom or bust players. I'm going to throw some guys out there, and Vander, we will discuss whether or not we believe that situation or that particular player will be a boom or a bust, most likely for this upcoming fantasy season. And each of the shows from here until the season start we'll be getting you literally prepared for the season. Boom and bust. Who are your breakouts? Who are your value guys? Who are our my guys? Or in the case of this show, our mans in them. several different episodes that are going to make sure that we cement home the guys that you're going to want to pay the most attention to. And today, again, we're looking at boom and bust, looking at the guys that may have a high variance of where they may end up. But if you're on the right end of this thing, it can really work out in your favor. So let's go ahead and start out at quarterback. We're going to start out with the coach situation. Right now, it is supposedly a battle between Daniel Jones and your man AR, Mr. Richardson. And I don't know if the answer changes based on who wins the job or if it's pretty much the same for the situation. If it is different, depending on who gets the job, by all means. But is this more of a boom or bust situation? Is this something that people aren't really putting enough stock into, kind of looking at the change in the receiver core and what could happen there, or no matter which guy it is, you can pretty much stand by to be disappointed just about every other week.
Well, I mean, being where they're ranked, those guys on the list I'm looking, they're ranked 31 and 32, right? So there's not much bust to be done. If they don't do well, it was expected. If they do well, you won. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pretty much lottery ticket. I think Daniel Jones can be pretty good due to the skill set. I think he's probably in a better situation as far as coaching. Has some pretty good weapons around him. Way better offensive line.
Yeah.
So that's one thing as well. Daniel Jones has showed some. I mean, he will run as well. Sneaky athletic. I'm gonna say not quite boom, but he can. Being where he's drafted, it would be called a boom.
Okay.
Because again, it's 32 teams in the league, right? And they got him ranked 31. So if he finished
The
18,
Cleveland Browns situation. Where are we there? It's looking like Flacco's most likely to be the starter, but he hasn't made it through very many seasons in their totality. Could be Sanders up next, could be Gabriel up next. I'm pretty sure it won't be Pickett up next, but how are we looking at this Cleveland quarterback situation?
again, not to be a broken record.
29 to 30?
Flacco rated 33.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Dylan Gabriel 34 and Shador 36. So again, expectations is not high. But you shouldn't have any expectations when it comes to Flacco. He's old enough to be some of these kids' father, right? In the league.
Literally.
And then you have Dylan Gabriel, who maybe was drafted as a third-round pick, but no one see him as a starter, as an NFL starter. I think Shador would be the target. He seemed like the best guy in the building. We all know the different things he's dealing with, as far as the politics is concerned. But these are all busts for for me. I just don't think Shador can get an opportunity, and if he do, it'll probably be late. Their schedule is brutal coming out. The first 5-6 games, they probably gonna get spanked.
So, well, that could be the reason why Shador could be in there, regardless of whether Flacco's hurt or not, just to see what you have in him after you started out possibly 0-5. It's a very real possibility they could start out the season 0-5.
Well, the schedule is more favorable for Shador, in my opinion, right? Because since it's so brutal in the beginning, how about y'all guys go out there and get prop, and then the fan base, you gotta understand this guy has one of the highest selling jerseys in the league, 5th round pick. They just made $250 million off of his jerseys already. So they done made $250 million off of jersey sales when it comes to Shador. It's a 5th round pick. And trust me, up there in Cleveland, that dog pound, if they start off 0-3, it's gonna get loud. And then they 0-4 and 5, it's gonna get louder. And with Haslam, their owner, who probably was behind the Shador pick, he's gonna be coming downstairs trying to figure out what's going on. So
well, you gotta start him, because if you start out with that type of a record, you're likely to be picking pretty high. I would think you would want to know whether or not you need a quarterback based on where you're picking. So I mean, it just makes sense that at some point in time in the season they got to see what they have in them. They got to. Brock Purdy. The 49ers have lost several key cogs, if you will. And because of having to now pay Brock Purdy doesn't necessarily have the same situation that he had previously. Can he now step up and be the reason why the team is successful versus being a part of a successful team? Or is he more likely to bust than he is boom? And you can also answer this question in the vein of what it's going to look like for fantasy versus what it may look like for real world NFL. Because for me, I actually think those two answers are separate or are not equal, if you will, if we're looking at fantasy versus real world NFL. But what say you about Brock Purdy?
I think I'm calling this even. It's not boom or bust.
Okay.
I think he's where he need to be. He's already rated at a QB1, and I think he'll finish at QB1. I mean, let's face it. What weapon has he lost? He only lost Debo. I mean, to be honestly, on the offense, and Pearsall, we knew when he got drafted, he was coming in to be Debo's replacement. Like it was the writing was on the wall a long time ago. So, I think he's
Did
in
you
trench.
replace your left tackle?
No, they still have Trent Williams is still there.
I thought he was either hurt or retired or something.
He's still there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, McCaffrey's back, so that's a plus. He
Right.
played last year without him. I think he's going to have a better season this year. I think he's going to get back to old CMC that we're accustomed to. He still got his trusty guy Kittle, so I think he's going to be just fine. To be honest with you, I think it's just business as usual. I mean, I think Shanahan put him in position to make plays. He get the best out of him. So it's not quite a boom because he's already rated high, but it's definitely not a bust for sure. I think he's going to be a QB1 this year easily.
Bo Nix. He led the Broncos to the playoffs as a rookie, dual threat quarterback. Um, he has an opportunity to kind of take the next step in his maturation, especially with a offensive minded head coach. They also got a couple of additional weapons to add to what he had last year.
Mm-hmm.
The issue is, based on what people saw last year, he's going to be drafted a whole lot higher than what he was drafted last year.
Mm-hmm.
And could that possibly make him a bust? Not that he himself won't do well in the NFL, but has the ADP caught up with Bo Nix to the point where you don't believe he'll actually finish in the realm of where he's been drafted? And so by that barometer, he'll likely be a bust.
Nah, you said it. We're gonna call this a bust, and not due to the play. I think he's gonna be fine. But again, his ADP is soared. He's pretty high. He's in higher than the likes of the Purdy's, the Justin Herberts, the Mahomes. Like a lot of these guys are behind him, who probably will come back up this year. I mean, Jordan Love fell down. Everybody had him high last year. Maybe he'll do better. We got Dak Prescott now, who's back in the conversation, who will probably leapfrog him as well. So I'm gonna call this a bust. I think CJ Stroud is gonna have a better year this year. So I'm gonna call him a bust. I think he finished last year like 7.
Yeah.
So I don't see him doing that again. I think he's gonna fall outside of the QB1 and maybe be a high QB2 this year, which is not going to really be a decline due to. I don't think it's going to be a decline due to his play. I think it's going to be a decline due to the play of other quarterbacks in the league that's going to play better, and just probably like leapfrog him a little bit. So it's a bust as far as where he's getting drafted at.
Moving on over to running backs. First up, the Las Vegas Raiders have rookie Austin Gentry. He's currently, I know it's really early. Well, not as early as it could be. There are some people that are drafting already. We're almost in August here, but some people are drafting him like crazy high. Like I know there is normally a rookie running back that comes, takes over, and people are drafting him as if he's going to be that guy. My reticence, and the reason that I'm going to call this guy a bust, is not about his talent. It's about the fact that I don't believe that his team will be in position to be able to run the ball as much as I think Pete Carroll would like to,
Mm,
because they're going to be behind. And
mm,
if they're behind, what you could have gotten from him if he was on another team that actually put up points on a regular base, I don't foresee you getting very many fourth quarters where they're running the air out of the ball.
right.
Like it's just it's not his talent. I just don't see them being able to play that old school Seattle style of football, because their defense didn't let you score any points, so they could just run the air out of the ball.
Right.
So that's the reason why I think drafting him where he is going to be drafted could lead to disappointment.
No, absolutely. Everything you said, I agree with totally. And not only that, is the division you're in, right? You got the Chiefs, who's probably the best run defensive team in the league. I think they was giving up less than 80 yards a game rushing or something crazy, right? Then you got the Chargers, who's a really good run defensive team, right? So you see those guys. That's 4 games there.
Then you got the Broncos. That's
And you got
the best defense in the league in general.
so I just think circumstances. You're really in a division where they don't really allow a lot of running, and it's what you want to do. Pete Carroll is what you want to do. That's 6 games already, and due to like what you said, being behind, when, you know what happened. You got to pass the ball, so it kind of takes the ball out of his hand and limit those number of carries. And he don't quite have the defense that he's accustomed to having when he's in Seattle. When you can slow the game down, run the ball, play defense, and get it back. So due to those things, I agree with you. This is a bust pick. He's like top 5. He's ranked like 5. And so the likes of Jonathan Taylor, Jacobs, CMC, those guys are rated behind him, who I think will finish in front of him if everyone remains healthy. But I'll also prefer those guys. I mean, you got Devon Achan. I mean, there's a lot of dudes that's behind him. Chase Brown, uh,
Mhm.
Kyron Williams. Like, they got this dude in front of a lot of people. So he's definitely a bust pick for me.
Joe Mixon of the Texans. He's one of those guys that I feel don't get quite as much respect as he possibly should, but he has dealt with some injury issues. But when healthy, he's been one of the better running backs in the league. But again, when healthy, and that's one of those positions where is Joe Mixon more likely to be a boom or bust?
And this is an interesting one. Being where he's rated, man, they haven't rated like 14. Um,
So right outside of running back of RB1.
yeah, and again, it's all dependent on things like health, like you said, and even the team is concerned. They went out in the offseason and brought in Nick Chubb.
Yeah,
So that's a guy that's probably
in
going
the
to.
rookie uh what is it, Marks or something like that? What is
Yeah, the guy
buddy?
Marks from Southern Cal.
Yeah.
So he's there as well. Um, I love Mixon, and when healthy, he's good. But I'm not sure if he's going to be healthy. Uh, hmm. I'm gonna say
That's the
bust.
$1 million question.
I'm gonna still say bust on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say
So
bust.
so so so, you're predicting injury then.
I think it's highly likely.
Okay.
Uh,
That's fair.
it's highly likely. And again, I mean, the organization brought in Nick Chubb out of all people. You know what I'm saying? So what is that saying?
I think that was saying that if we can get you for 50 cent on the dollar, and everybody else is scared to touch you with a 10-foot pole, if you're 80% of what you used to be, we'll take it.
And that's fine.
And
But with that 80%, I think it's going to be more of a split, because if you
yeah,
feel like
for sure.
right, and that will help this whole bus thing we're talking about. I don't think he's going to be able to get the load, the volume that he's accustomed to.
But I guess the other end of that coin is it could keep him healthy. So maybe you have him for a
It,
full
it,
season.
it could keep him healthy, but also it keep him from getting those goal line touches. Nick
I
Chubb
mean,
is probably more of a battering ram than he is. So
you can't be picked on the goal line if you ain't in the game. So it's like a six in one hand, half a dozen in the other. I want you to stay healthy. I
right.
would prefer for you to be, again, he was one of the only, I would say, what term am I looking for? As far as running backs are concerned, he was really only one of the only running backs left in the league, or in one of the only running systems where there was a featured back versus it being a committee style of an approach. So, I mean, maybe actually that lengthens his career, and it makes him better for you in fantasy. Although you don't have the high highs, you don't have the 6 weeks of not having them at all. So, I don't know. That'll be interesting to see. Kenneth Walker out in Seattle, explosive. Uh, I kind of feel like, honestly, Kenneth Walker and Joe Mixon are the same dude. Like, great when healthy, but they're not going to be healthy for the full season, and both have significant talent behind them. So, for me, however you feel about Mixon is how you should feel about Walker.
I'm cool with that.
Actually,
I
you
think
might actually feel a little bit worse about Walker though, because Charbonnet is already established,
right.
and the Texans don't know if Chubb is back, and then they have a rookie that they don't know what he's going to do because he hadn't played it down yet. So he actually may be a little bit worse off than Mixon, slightly.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are excited. Shanahan's up there, and everybody know what Shanahan does. Well, the Shanahan system, Kubiak is up there, and everybody know what Kubiak Shanahan system looks like as far as the running back is concerned. Um, but again, you don't know who's who. Charbonnet probably be a good target. He's definitely probably one of the most important handcuffs we got right now in this league. And the
For
guy I
sure.
kind of would, I pull people coats to is Martinez out of Miami. I want to see how he look in the preseason. He's also a guy. Let's see how he look. Really good guy. I'm talking about tough guy, tough runner. I want to see how he look in the preseason. So if you deep, he may be a guy. Definitely in the redraft. Nobody's definitely not picking Martinez. Um, so my trick to people will be this. I mean, of course, there'd be a Charbonnet. He'll be on somebody's team for sure. But if a Kenneth Walker injury was to occur, go get Martinez. Everybody gonna be running looking for Charbonnet, but I'll be looking for Martinez because Charbonnet is no stranger to injury too. But so, but I'm gonna say bust with this one due to health, and I just think that I got a feeling that by the time playoff roll around, Charbonnet probably be the guy in the backfield.
Tyrone Tracy Jr., Giants running back. He broke out in 2024 with the starter role. High ceiling if he retains the bell cow role, but we don't know if that's going to actually take place based on the fact that they did bring in Scatterbo as well there to be in the backfield. And then they still have the veteran. Not too much worried about Devin Singletary. He was there last year when Tracy broke out. So, um, how are we looking at Tracy? For me, based on where you can get him, even if he isn't a bell cow, I don't see him not outproducing where you can currently draft him. Now, depending on where ADP goes and things of that nature, between now and actual draft times, that may change a little bit. But I think Tracy, if I am in a zero RB type situation, he may be a guy that I want to maybe feature as a starter. I think he'll be given the keys first, and it'll depend on what he does when he's behind the wheel. But I think he can actually end up being a boom. What are your thoughts on Tyrone Tracy?
I don't quite feel the same way about Tracy. He has had some good games. He also have had some ball security issues. They did draft Scatterable. Um, so let's see if he can get on the field. Maybe Scatterable will take some of those short yardage goal line touches away from him. I mean, Tracy is a wide receiver turned running back, right? So maybe from the PPR, he may do some damage there. But in the standard league, there's a lot of guys being drafted behind him that I'd rather have. I mean, you got kids like RJ Harvey, who I'd probably rather have as well. You have Pacheco. Hell, you have Travis Etienne. You have J.K. Dobbins. Like, there's a couple kids I think I'd rather have than Tracy. I don't know if I can depend on Tracy to be my starter if I go zero running back. So if you do go zero running back, some of the names I mentioned, I think I'd rather have instead of even guys like Charbonnet, who we just spoke about. I'd probably rather have than Tracy in the long haul. So Tracy may have a game here or there. And if you are the owner, he does, I'll move on him. I would trade him. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to say bust for me.
Saquon Barkley. For some, he may be the number one overall draft pick, depending on settings and things of that nature. And I don't think, again, depending on the situation, I could be mad at you because he definitely won't be around for your second pick. So if you want him, you're gonna have to jump, and you're gonna have to jump early, which is why, coming off of a historical season, historical workload, and the Madden cover, nah, bro, I can't do it. I can't do it. I know what he did last year, but I also know what he's done for most of his career, and it hasn't been his fault. This is the only time we've seen him behind a good offensive line. But what I've seen in football, good O-line or not, when you have the type of workload that he had, and you on the Madden cover, call me superstitious, but I can't. I can't. If he misses a game, he's not going to produce for where you drafted him at. That's really what it boils down to. So I just don't see him having back-to-back seasons of last year, whether it be the team trying to save him from himself, whether it be injury, or whether it be the defense is saying, hey, we're going to attempt to stop that guy. You're going to have to pass the ball if you're going to beat us. However it comes about, I don't think he reproduces last year, and that's what it would take for him to be worth where he's been drafted right now. I'd much rather go after a CMC and hope that he produces what he has previously versus thinking I'm going to catch lightning in a bottle 2 years in a row. It's just probability. That's how I look at fantasy.
I mean, you put it that way, it's got to be bust. Again, like you said, the workload, different things. You hardly ever see a running back finish 1-2 years in a row. Like, that's not the
correct.
I like Saquon. I think he'll be fine. He had a hell of a workload last year for sure. But due to that, and hell, if he's already won and you can't go higher than one, how can you boom higher?
No. Wasn't Gibbs one last year? I think Saquon was 2.
No, I think Henry was actually 1 last year. Gibbs was 3.
You sure?
Yeah.
It may depend on scoring systems though.
Right.
Go ahead.
I know I seen Henry was 1, Barkley 2, Gibbs 3. What's higher than 1 or 2? I mean, so I guess considering they got to be bust. Not saying he's going to have a bad year by any means, but
now, I'm looking at our PPR league. Gibbs was 1, number 1 running back, number 7 overall. Barkley.
Well, it depends on what league you're in with scoring. In that league,
Barkley was 2.
Yeah.
And number 8 overall. And I'm assuming Henry is probably three. But then if you look at our league of record, being a standard league, obviously Henry was number one there.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Depends on your scoring.
Henry
Uh,
was four in PPR. Who was three? I don't. Maybe you know what? I think it may have been A Chain. May have been three
no, I don't. Couldn't have been H-Man.
in PPR. I think. Wait,
I doubt
no,
it.
he was five. I'm tripping. Five. Who was three? We'll figure it out later. At any rate, moving on over to wide receiver. So this is really looking at a lot of rookies and then one second year player. Let's start out with the second year player first, being Malik Neighbors. I know what we got from him before he got hurt. We're essentially drafting him at his height of heights and assuming that we're going to get a reproduction of what we got in the beginning of last year, assuming that what we saw in the beginning of last year would have lasted all year.
Mhm.
But that's where we're drafting this guy. So do we think that that is sustainable, or based on new weapons, new system, new quarterback? Like, are we not likely to see the same type of situation? Not that Neighbors don't have the same talent, but are we not likely to see the same situation to give him that much opportunity this coming year? Because he's definitely been drafted as a high wide receiver one right now.
Yeah, he's sitting around probably like the seventh wide receiver on the board. Being that, I mean, Russell Wilson is there. You have a kind of a better quarterback who definitely throws a better deep ball.
But more likely to spread it around than just to give that one guy every single target.
Well, that's the thing. Targets, I believe Neighbors was like second last year in targets,
That's what I'm saying.
which
And
is
that
a
was with missing all them games.
right, which was a whole lot. But you got to
How did that repeat? Like I
But
can
what
see a
do you got?
bad quarterback doing that. Do you really think like even in situations where Russell Wilson only had one dude to throw the ball to, he still threw the ball to more than one dude?
Right. No,
So I
I
don't
definitely
know.
think he's gonna be overdrafted. I'm gonna say bust due to where he's being drafted and where he's gonna finish. Could he be a wide receiver one? Sure, but maybe more lower than mid or higher. He's
I
right now
think
being drafted in the middle. So
I think your best case is he ends up right where you drafted him. And I don't know how y'all like to invest, but I don't want the same amount of money back that I put in. Because what was the point? I want a return on my investment. Like, so I just feel like Neighbors is going to give you what you paid for him. And if that's all you get from all of your guys that you draft, you're not winning a championship. The formula to win a championship is you got to at least have two guys that have a huge, we talk about penny stocks turning people into millionaires. You got to have at least two guys that you saw coming that other people didn't. That's one of the main. The other guys you almost can't get wrong. You're just playing the Russian roulette of injury with most of the guys on your team. But you need at least two guys on your bench that other people didn't see coming. The guys that we told you about last year that kind of fit that bill, your Brian Thomas Juniors of the world. At quarterback, your Bo Nix of the world, your Sam Darnolds of the world. You need those guys that you paid nothing for, that you can trade a bigger, sexier name for even more, because you have the guy that you paid nothing for that you can slide into their spot that you lost nothing at that position for. So you have to be able to identify those guys. And I just don't know that he's going to. I don't think you can't draft him at a spot where he can be that guy. A couple of these guys may be able to be that though. Matthew Golden, Golden State. I mean Golden State. Lord have mercy, Green Bay. T Mac, Carolina. Travis Hunter, Jacksonville. Emeka Ibuka, Tampa Bay. Especially seeing as how we don't necessarily think that Chris Godwin will be the pitcher of help to start the season. Um, any of these guys, all of these guys, depending on the scoring system, who's likely to be a boom? Who's likely to be a but? I won't even say boom or bust, because some of the guys are going to be drafted so far back that it'll just be a is what it is as far as the ADP part is concerned. But who's likely to be that bottle rocket that, based on where you drafted them, and based on what you're getting out of them, you can now move from maybe someone you drafted a lot higher to fulfill another position.
I'm gonna go with the Biletnikoff winner and Travis Hunter. Out of this group, he has the best ball skills. Pause in this group. You know what I'm saying? I mean, where he's being drafted around guys like George Pickens. So I may consider having him more. The thing is this: we want to see what that snap count looks like as far as offense versus defense. If I was told that he'll be 100% wide receiver, it would be a no-brainer. I think this guy could be really good. He has the right signal caller. They got Cohen. He's known to, we see how he did it with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin over there in Tampa Bay. And so having BTJ and I think having a guy like Travis Hunter is going to be huge. For me,
I'm going to have to take a step back real quick then, Vander.
Okay.
I got to add another guy to quarterbacks. Because if what you just said is true, and we still believe BTJ to be BTJ, Trevor Lawrence can't fail. Am I looking at it wrong? I mean, because
no, he's that guy for me, that sleeper.
Okay, good to know. That's.
But we spoke about this months ago. Remember, I spoke about that. Like when Cohen got the job, I was like, okay, this could be Mayfield 2.0. You know what I'm saying? A rebirth of life. We've seen Darnold do it. You know what I'm saying? We see Geno Smith do it. We've seen Mayfield do it. I just think this is Trevor Lawrence's time because the talent everybody say he had coming out, and he has, and different things of that nature. If this guy can't get it out of you, you just ain't got it, right? We see Peterson down there, different guys, but I think Cohen could be the guy. He has the weapons are there.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, Travis Hunter is special. I mean, he get the ball in his hand and he can just take it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going.
The thing I love about him is the fact that I don't need you to be on the field 100% of the snaps on offense. He's one of the. You know who he reminds me of? Don't hear what I'm not saying. The size isn't the same, but ball skills wise, you know who he kind of reminds me of?
OBJ.
Percy Harvin.
Oh man, okay.
Percy Harvin. I know that's not a name that most people would kind of think of based on where his NFL career ended up. But if not for injury, Percy Harvin could have been special.
Percy was a bad man.
I feel like he's a smaller version of him.
I think he's more like Odell. I just think he's gonna jump on the scene.
The routes like Odell's. Like
no, he's not a
routes.
Yeah, he's not a route runner like Odell. But I just think as far as like the ball is in the air, this dude lightning in the bottle, man.
He gonna figure out how to go get it.
Anything can happen. You know what I'm saying? He's just one of those kids. He's extremely special, man. Like you can't teach what he got.
If you guys play best ball, he's definitely one of the guys that I would want because he can get you a week worth of fantasy points in one play.
Yeah, for sure. And being at the system, I really think
he be matched up against number 2 corners because let me ask you this. This may be apples and oranges, but if Hunter reaches his full potential, who's the number 1 wide receiver on that team?
Still BTJ.
Okay. That was my thought. I just wanted to make sure. Okay. Wanted to make sure we were on the same page there.
Yeah, he could still be. I mean, hell, we seen Julio and Roddy White. We seen
Thielen and Cooper Kupp.
Right. We seen Thielen and Stephon Diggs. Like we seen 2 people can't exist. So No, I think it's still BJ is still the man, but I just think again, like you said, he can get a lot in one. Right? You can see games where BTJ may have 9 catches, 125 touchdown, whatever, and then Hunter could have 3 catches for 180 and a touchdown. Right? It's like I did a lot with a little bit. Like, yeah, you got the targets and you got the catches and all that, but I had a 60-yard play.
I actually feel like the more valuable wide receiver, especially if you're in standard, is going to be Hunter. PPR, I don't think that
Okay.
it'll be close just because of the volume, and BTJ won't need a touchdown,
I tell
won't
you
need
what,
a whole bunch of yards.
how it used to be with Deshaun Jackson. Remember how he used to be when he was with the Eagles?
Yes, that's
Where
the comp right there.
where you
That's
went
the comp.
like it was Sunday 1 o'clock, and you went to the refrigerator and came back, and he had 13 points. You're like, damn, what happened? I missed something.
One play.
Yeah, I think
One play.
that's who. Yeah, I think he's gonna be like
And
Deshaun.
especially if your league does any type of bonuses and stuff like that for longer catches and stuff. Yeah, for sure.
He's one of them. Everybody else, golden. I ain't. That room is super
Crowded.
crowded.
I don't believe it'll be as crowded. I think their wide receiver room is going to be akin to the Patriots wide receiver room. All the people that's there right now won't be there by the time to see. It'll fan out, and it'll be. You'll know, barring injury, who the man is supposed to be.
There is no man. That's what I'm trying to tell you. There is no man.
It depends on how you look at it.
There is no man.
So what I mean by that is this: people would say the same thing about Jacoby Myers in Las Vegas, but don't tell my fantasy team that it ain't no man in Las Vegas.
No, I wouldn't say that.
I'm talking about fantasy.
But Jacoby has shown that he can, you know what I'm saying? Especially in PPR leagues, but no Packer receiver has really stood out. I mean, it's Jaden Reed on short stints, but there is no man in Green Bay. And it definitely, I don't think it'll be, it's just too many of Jags in the building. Too many. Like they just have a bunch of random guys throwing together. There's not no alpha. There's a pack of hyenas. That's all it is. It's like a pack of hyenas, and there's no one guy. It's just a bunch of laughing hyenas running around in the locker room. And I don't want anything to do with any of the wide receivers singled out. Now, if I had to take one, it'd be Reed. But don't get no Watson and Wicks and no, forget it. I think as far as T-Mac goes in Carolina, that's something I want to see first. I know he bought in, but they have.
I don't think you'll be able to see it first, though.
I mean, I'm just saying, as far as like, I got to see it before. I don't think it's because I think it's Xavier Leggett has maybe took a step. This Thielen is still hanging around. They bought in Renfro. I'm not sure if he's going to be playing or not. It's just a lot going on. So, and you have Bryce Young, who did show some glimpses last year, but again, I got to see it on a full. I got to get a full compliment. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about those guys.
Let's move on over and wrap it up with our tight ends. Tyler Warren with the Colts, Travis Kelce with Kansas City, Colston Loveland with the Bears, Jonnu Smith, now a Pittsburgh Steeler, Kyle Pitts, the Atlanta Falcons, who was only 24 years old. Based on where you're drafting these guys, who's more likely to be a boom versus being a bust?
The boom will probably be Warren. Being that the situation, he's on the Colts, new QB best friend, possibly tight end. We've seen Daniel Jones have a relationship with Waller at one point. And he very well may be the best pass catcher in the building. Pittman has his thing with injury. We don't know. Downs. Now a lot of people on Downs.
All their wide receivers get injured all the time. Pittman, Downs, and Alec Pierce. They all injured.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are on Downs this year. Everybody thinks this is a breakout for him. I don't know. I still think Warren could be the guy. He's probably the most likely to boom out of this group. I think likely still has Andrews in the way, because likely I have a 2-touchdown game and then come out the next game and don't really play much. So I think Andrews is still in the way there. Loveland, it's just crowded. Not only at his position, but just in general. Like you got 3 pretty decent wide receivers in the room, and you have a running back at the backfield who also can catch the ball. So due to it's just being congested, I would say more bust on him. Jonnu Smith, he's back reunited with Arthur Smith. I probably would like him. I think I'm not gonna say boom. I think he can still finish where he was last year.
I'll say it for you. That's my boom tight end pick. And the reason for it, as you stated, back with Arthur Smith. But more importantly, the number 2 wide receiver in Pittsburgh is Calvin Austin. What does DK Metcalf do? He takes the top off of the defense. There's only one pass catcher underneath. That's Jonnu Smith. They ain't got nobody else underneath. In a PPR league, Jonnu Smith will be gold.
But where did Jonnu Smith finish last year?
It ain't got nothing to do with the situation this year.
Yeah, it does.
It doesn't.
I think but we talking about boom or bust. So where did he finish? Where he's being drafted? Like I'm trying to figure out where that's at. I just don't think I think he could be good. So I didn't say bust. I think he could be really good. I think he's in a good position, being in a familiar offense and being with a guy who knows how to use him. So I think he could be really good. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, even when
right now he's been drafted as tight end 8.
I'm gonna still say bust because you still have.
You don't think he'll be tight end 8?
No, because you still have Pat. You still have Pat Freiermuth in the building. So
what is he doing?
It don't matter. He's a pretty good tight end. I mean,
no, he's done nothing in Arthur Smith's system at all. He's the reason why they brought in Jonnu Smith.
Okay, so what has Jonnu did when he's in Atlanta? Arthur Smith was there. What did he do?
Honestly, I don't remember.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to tell you. He had like 500 yards, 3 touchdowns, whatever. Cool. I just don't think that's tight end 8 numbers. I think in real football, it'd be better than in fantasy. You know what I'm saying? I just think in fantasy wise, it's going to be tight end 8. I don't see that. I'm going to say bust for him.
And he was tight end 4 last year.
Yeah, last year with Miami Dolphins. But look at where he was at with Arthur Smith. That's what I'm saying.
But the situation is different. He wasn't the number 2. He wasn't the number 2 pass catcher in Atlanta. Like the Pittsburgh don't have any pass catchers other than DK and him. Like none.
I don't trust Arthur Smith as a signal caller.
I don't either.
And I just don't think that
we agree on that for sure.
So I just don't think it'll be tight end 8. I just don't see that.
I don't see how he can finish behind that when there's nobody else to catch the ball.
Don't matter who's throwing the ball. Is he going to last the whole season?
Who knows? I mean, we can say that about any quarterback.
No, I'm just saying. No, this is a 40-some-year-old man out there. You can't say that for any quarterback. This is somebody that has an injury history that's old enough to be a lot of these kids' father, literally, that's at quarterback. And it's so many question marks over Pittsburgh. You just don't know. You can't be having question marks about you. You have question marks about Aaron Rodgers.
But I mean, an older quarterback makes it more likely that he's gonna dump off the ball to the tight end.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I know who we're talking about. Aaron Rodgers has dumped the ball off to the tight end of the running back traditionally.
No, we didn't see him do that last year.
He didn't have a tight end.
Okay.
Conklin can't catch the ball. That's all he had.
No, I ain't buying it. Again, too many question marks around his offense. I'm already not a fan of the signal caller. Cool, it's a cool football move. I think it'd be cool football wise, but fantasy wise, I ain't feeling it. As far as picks, I don't want to hear. I don't want to curse. Please. Enough is enough. I don't care. He's only 24 years old. Who cares? Who gives a damn?
But he only been in the league 3 years, man.
Yeah, and he hasn't done anything.
But think about it though. There are a lot of tight ends that we don't start calling their names until they've actually been in the league quite a bit longer than Kyle Pitts. It's one of the toughest positions to really get acclimated to. And not to mention the fact that he hasn't had necessarily the best of luck as it pertains to the signal callers. So I mean, I'm not. Don't hear what I'm not saying. I still believe the talent is there. I don't know that but also because of what you just said too, and because of and actually, let me go back to where Cal Pitts is being drafted.
He's like tight end 14 or something. Get him.
No, can you? That's what can you? But no, actually, the Tucker Craft is tight end 14, who I like better than Pitts. That might be another guy that's on my value list. If Tucker Craft, but then again, he got all those other dudes there in Green Bay. We'll see how that goes.
Pitts is what, 15?
Pitts is 17.
Oh man, what are we talking about?
Zach Ertz is 16. Dallas Goedert is 15. Tucker Craft is 14. Tyler Warren 13. Jake Ferguson 12. Colston Loveland 11. Evan Ingram 10. David Njoku 9. Jonnu Smith 8. 7. Mark Andrews. I think Mark Andrews has been kind of disrespected a little bit. That's a barring injury sort of situation. But if he does all year what he did at the end of last year, he's upper echelon tight end 1. Travis Kelce 6, TJ Hawkinson 5, Sam Laporta 4, George Kittle 3, Trey McBride 2, and Brock Bowers 1. That's the current ADP. So based on, I mean, tight end 17, I don't think he can do worse than that barring injury. So he got to outperform. Not that I would necessarily want to be starting him weekly, but. And we'll be looking at values starting on next week. We'll go through all of the positions, kind of figuring out based on ADP what guys are going to give you the best value, the best return on your investment, if you will. Not deep diving into sleepers just yet, but simply looking at current values and how they're changing. So that does it for this week. Next week, again, we'll be doing values, going over all the positions, and also going over all of your news and notes. We are about 5 weeks away, if I'm not mistaken, from some football. So we have made it through the dog days of summer, and fall is fastly approaching. Make sure you guys are listening out for every episode. Don't miss anything. Get those championships. And at the end of the day, if you don't remember anything else, remember this. Tell the truth and nothing but the truth. We out.